Hi, I'm Sharon Landon, and welcome to Old Asian Lady Show. Today, I have a very special guest and friend with me, Stephen Rong.
Hi everyone, I'm Steven, the most oldest of Asian ladies in the world, apparently.
Well, no, he's the oldest of my on-screen stage
Children.
son.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been your child 2 times already.
No, more than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when we do the
3
ABC thing too, you're also my son.
Yeah. So, hi mom. I had a conversation with my mom, and then I was like, I'm gonna meet Sharon, and then she said, oh, tell your other mother I said hi.
I've got to meet your mom next time she's in Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, so I am not apparently, obviously an old Asian lady, but I am very honored to be part of your show. I think that actually I told you to name your show Old Asian Lady.
Yes, he's the one that got me to name the show Old Asian. No, you said Old Asian Woman first.
Yeah, I was like, don't be offended because I don't think you're old, but because in society a lot of times when you're past the age of like 40, like people consider you to be like old. So just I was like giving you a whole setup, and I was like, I think you should call your show Old Asian Woman. And I remember Sharon's face at that moment was like, kind of like, excuse me, like she didn't know how to register what I just told her.
But the more I thought about it, the more it ticked with me. So anyway, here we are.
Here we are.
And I'm super happy that you was able to come to talk with me today, because I know your schedule is really busy. Now, see, Stephen is a singer, actor, podcaster, host. Did I miss anything?
I mean, I only do these things because people always ask me, like, they're like, oh, you must be really talented. No, the reason why I do it is because I'm not talented in any of them, and I have to do all of them to survive in the entertainment business. So far I've been doing a good job with that.
Yeah, I think so. But
so why did you invite me to your show if it's Old Asian Lady? Like, what was
Because this whole show is all about people's perceptions of what an old Asian lady is. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but just people's perceptions that may be right or wrong, depending on which angle or where they're coming from, what culture and things like that. So
you kind of want to hear like different people's perspectives, but we also have a shared, like with our Asian heritage.
Yes, that's true.
Common ground.
We do both look Asian.
So.
But anyway, Stephen and I met actually, I think it's been 8 years, 8 years ago. And remember where we met?
Yes, it was through a play.
Yes.
Called A Perfect Ganesh.
Yes.
Where you played my mom for the first time.
Yes.
It was fun. It was 4 of us, and then I had to play like 18 different characters.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Including
you did it.
your dead gay son.
Yes.
Who was back from the grave to like blame you for being a terrible mother.
Yeah, it was an interesting play. Let's just say that.
You were a terrible mother, and the other thing we did too. No, you weren't terrible. I think you were.
Oh, stop it already! I'm not a terrible mom. I'm not one of those. But anyway, I remember one of the things I really remember about it, aside from us being in the play together, is that on the way home, on the way home after the performance and stuff, we'd start chatting about what we were doing here in Taiwan, what we wanted to do, where we saw ourselves. And it was at that time, Stephen was feeling like you were getting places, but it wasn't fast enough, and you're kind of in an in-between place. But look at you now. You've got so many things going on. You've got, you're getting up there. So I'm really excited for your career and what you've been doing, because you've really progressed a lot.
Well, I think really honestly, it's just not giving up. I think for me, like a thing that like an angle for being an Asian person is, I feel like for Asian males, a lot of opportunities, like there aren't as many opportunities for us. Like if you say for Hollywood, just in the recent years, there's more Asian males that are showing up in different kinds of roles. It used to be just martial arts. So then for me, growing up in Virginia in the States, like it's so far away from Hollywood, first of all. And at that time growing up, you would only ever see like Jackie Chan or Jet Li, like Asian males were just seen as like either martial arts masters or as jokes. Like in what is it, Two Broke Girls? Like the Asian comes out and he's very entertaining, but then like Asian males are always just seen as non-sex like people,
Right,
you know.
right.
So for me, like coming back to like Asia, like I wanted to see if there was like a more like fair playing ground for opportunities and entertainment. But then the thing I faced here was like I'm too American for a lot of roles, or my accent is too different from people that speak here. So there's been a lot of like just trying to find roles that are fitting for me here has been just as difficult as it would have been for me like 10 years ago trying to find roles in Hollywood. So with that being said, like, what do? Do you just roll up in a ball and like give up? Like for me, it's just like, it's not an option. So you just have to like try different things to find a way to get to where you want to go. And for me, it's always been trying to find job opportunities that can affect people in a positive way. So just because there are no available roles for me or jobs for me doesn't mean that I don't have a voice or some kind of message that is meant for people to be heard, because there are definitely going to be people who are like me out there.
Yeah.
So if I don't give up, then maybe that journey can be encouraging or inspiring for somebody out there who maybe I'll never meet, but that's why I do it, what I do. And yeah, that's just the common gist why I do so many things is for that
Yeah,
reason.
I mean, I really have to say you hustle a lot, because sometimes I worry about you because you are doing so many different things, but you're good in so many different things too. So very, very rounded. But before that though, I mean, you did not start off as, I mean, in entertainment industry, right? You were, when you were in the States, you were, I believe, studying biology.
Yes.
And so biology, Virginia, to Taiwan, and artist. How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, like my wanting to be like someone in entertainment just really seemed like something so far away. Like it seemed so impossible. And then also what I was saying earlier about not seeing many Asian people in media in the States. And there was before YouTube, that was before the internet. Like that's how old I am. But like you just couldn't really—
Don't talk about age.
there was really not that much exposure to Asian culture. Like it wasn't easy for me in Virginia. So the extent of my entertaining was like singing in the shower, basically.
Oh, okay.
And then when university, like college came along, I did a lot of like performances on stage, because that was like my only outlet. So then when I was in college, I was gonna be like, you know, like in America, a lot of Asian Americans, like we feel very pressured to do things that are very academic, because our parents went to America in hopes of us having a better future.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of Asian people that go there, like it's like a consumption, like, you know, they just think that having a job that's high paying is what is most stable and most, in terms of society's like measures, successful.
Yeah.
Right. But then a lot of times I'm always like, why would you expect like moving to a different culture that your children are like growing up in a different culture that we're going to think exactly like you? It's just not going to happen. And especially
well, parents, lots and lots and lots of parents think that though.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So that, I mean, even
yeah.
it's even with my mom, like she's very open-minded, but at first she wanted me to be like someone who's academically like successful, but I think she learned very early on that I'm just not academically talented. So just wanting to be more I wanted to be an art major at first. And then even for her, like she at the beginning she was like, oh, like being an artist is not very like economically stable.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll listen to her. So I was like, I'll go into biology. And then dentistry seemed like something that would be fun, because there are a lot of really intricate details that are very, to me, I think a tooth and playing with it is like almost like art. So it was like in my mind, I was like, oh, that seems like something that I could do and be interested in. So
Can you imagine Steven over your face looking at you?
I can. I think it's really fun to pick at people's teeth. I don't know. It's just because I did help at dental clinics and stuff. Because I went to college as a bio major, and I did pre-dental, so I helped out at clinics and whatever. And then I was at Virginia Tech, and then we had a shooting in 2007, I believe. And that was what kind of woke me up to like, you know, like you never know what's going to happen next. One of my friends was the first person who was shot. So like that kind of, and I was supposed to hang out with him like the weekend before, and I didn't respond to his text because I'm really bad at responding to texts, as you know. And and so that kind of was like, okay, well, that was a big like eye opener for me. And that same year, I had a tumor that was non-cancerous, but before my surgery, I had a car accident where my car was totally like, if totally almost flipped over. I was luckily okay, and I went to have my surgery for the tumor removal, and then the power went out in the hospital in the middle of my surgery. And with all those things happening and within 1 year, it kind of made me realize that we don't have as much time on this earth as we think we do. So then I gathered the courage and I told my mom, I was like, I want to try to go to Asia to like pursue my dream. She was like, what dream? I was like, of being a star. And then she was like, what? She's like, the only thing you ever do is sing in the shower. What makes you think you can do this? And blah, blah, blah. But once I set my mind to it, I was like, I just don't know. It was a calling. I felt like I knew exactly that I had things I wanted to share with people and to tell people. And at that time, I didn't know how, but I just knew that I wanted to do that. And that's what has kept me going since then, is just believing that I'm meant to do that. That's just what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's like the universe doing all kinds of stuff to you, like shaking you
Literally,
up to say, hey, Stephen,
I woke up from
do
the
what you love to
surgery,
do. Yeah.
And then I remember thinking to myself, I was like, if that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there has been a lot of stuff that's happened to me, like when I first came to Asia, like my own relatives stopped talking to me. They said directly to my mom, I had a relative that told my mom, she was like, your son's ugly, he doesn't know how to sing. What makes him think that he can make it in this business? And I, like, things like that, they do hurt, but then if you still believe in yourself, if you still believe in yourself, it doesn't really matter like what other people think. You just go for it.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I did, because I met people like you. Like I've met so many great people along the way, and even people that didn't believe in me. Like I never did it for them. I really did it because I just know that I need to do it. And then in that journey, people that don't believe in you start to realize that maybe even them themselves. Maybe one of the reasons why they didn't believe you in the first place is because they never believed in themselves, or they didn't pursue something they themselves wanted to pursue. And when they see you succeed, maybe that in turn inspires them to go after something that they thought was dormant or forever, like just a dream.
Far off. Right. So when you did leave the States to come to Asia, you didn't come to Taiwan initially, right? You went to Hong Kong.
Right.
So you stayed there for a period of time. Why did you pick Hong Kong rather than Taiwan?
So that's like another thing too. Like back in the day, like when I first came to Taiwan, you could only stay here for 30 days at a time with a US passport. So like with me thinking like, okay, well, every 30 days I'm gonna have to leave, that's really expensive before you can find like a company that can host you with a work visa, stuff like that. Because I was going in with no experience in entertainment. Of course, I did try to go to management companies and asking them if they would be interested in signing me. They'd be like, what are your credentials? I was a bio major, who's gonna use me? So then I went to Hong Kong because I had a cousin there, and being in Hong Kong, they give you 3 months at a time. Gives you more time to kind of like go out there and figure out what you want or how to go about getting into the industry. And then in Hong Kong, you could just go to Macau for an afternoon, come back. Like it was a lot easier, so that's why I chose to go there first. And when I was in Hong Kong, for the year I was there, I took classes every day, like dance classes, singing classes, songwriting classes, even Cantonese classes, every day I would work in my cousin's studio until like 3 a.m. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, let me just try to figure this out, and nobody was there to like teach me. I just really was focused on just trying to do things.
Right.
Right.
Right. Wow. Oh, so your cousin had a studio,
Yeah.
so he was in the industry as well, or sort of?
He had, I think for him, like music was always like a dream of his, but because of his parents wanting him to do things that were more and economically stable, he wasn't able to pursue that goal as much. So he kind of like, I was kind of like his like outlet into that industry. Yeah. So that was interesting too. Like I think there were a lot of dynamics there that I learned a lot, and you also learn that you just can't rely on people. Like you can't be like, oh, just because I have an opportunity and someone's giving it to me, that's 100% where I put all my eggs in that basket.
Right.
Because there's going to be expectations and discrepancies in that, and like it was a good learning experience to be more independent and reaching for these things. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is he still chasing his dream, or is
No.
he totally out?
Yeah,
back?
it kind of was something that he just chose a different life path.
Right,
He has
right.
a beautiful family. He has his own business.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't something that was possible for him yet. But who knows? Further down the line, maybe one day he'll decide to pursue it. There's just, I think that's the thing in life is like a lot of people put periods at the end of a lot of their goals or their paths. But the only thing is, like, I always hear people like, oh, it's too late for that, or I'm too old for that. It's like, who's saying that? Like, you're saying that. And people might laugh at you and be like, why are you like being foolish and chasing your dreams and shit? But it's like, who's doing that? Like tell that person to shut the fuck up. Like, literally, I get really angry because I'm like, it's such a waste, because like one day everyone's gonna die eventually. It sounds very dark, but it's true. So then before you die, like, why would you want to waste your time just worrying about what other people are thinking what you should do, when you can go out there and pursue what you want to do, and don't be a selfish dick about it, because that's what causes like people to not like you or whatever. And you don't have to do things to be liked, but you do live in society. You still have to kind of be mindful of other people's needs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, what about your own needs?
Yeah.
Like, you still have to kind of cultivate that and make sure that it's not being thwarted by other people's fears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that, I don't know if you feel like that in terms of following your dreams or not being afraid or standing up. In Asian culture, bringing that up, it's often hard, and a lot of people, just based on the culture of their bringing up, not necessarily able to say what they mean,
Right.
or be able to communicate what they want. So it's quite your situation. You're very lucky to be able, even though it was not a super easy,
Right.
smooth going thing, you were able to do that and get those experiences. Now, I know your mom. You said your mom was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
did she?
She's totally like. She said something just last year, and it touched me really. Like, I started crying because I was just like, I know she's been very supportive, and she's very critical. She's never complimenting me. She never compliments me.
That's an Asian mom,
But like, she said one day, she was like, I know what you're doing, and I know you're trying to like inspire people. She's like, as long as you leave like 10 or 20% to yourself, like taking care of yourself, don't forget to do that. But I understand that you're giving the other 80% to other people. She's like, she didn't say anything like good job or whatever, but her saying that and recognizing that and identifying what I've been doing and just saying it very matter-of-factly is her way of being like, I know what your life path is.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I remember the thing that, I guess this is going to the old Asian lady thing, is like, from my mom, like, just being a single mother in America, like in a culture that she didn't grow up in, and raising 2 kids on her own and owning a Chinese restaurant. She's like the epitome of a strong Asian woman. And then for me, like, one of the things that always made me realize how unappreciated people like her are is, I remember one time my friend in high school invited my mom to a football game, and my mom took off from the restaurant to go to the football game to support me because I was in the marching band.
Okay, I thought you were going to say football.
I was in the marching band.
Okay.
But then they were watching the football game, and my mom was like getting really into the game, and then like the following Monday when I saw my friend, she was like, oh, my mom like said your mom was really into it, but I don't think your mom even knew what was going on. that to me to this day still pisses me off because my mom knew exactly what was going on. It was that mother who had no idea what was going on because she didn't understand football, but she automatically assumed because my mother was Asian that she must not know what's going on.
Yeah. It's those perceptions.
It is,
really
and it's also
kind of-
because my mom's English has an accent, so then automatically she's assumed to be less like knowing what's going on.
Right.
But, like that just pissed me off because I was like, why would you automatically assume that? But anyway, my mom is very, very intelligent. She's very strong. Like one of the first things that she said in the States, like, you know, because like we do face discrimination, especially as we were growing up. Like we were in, I think, an amusement park, and there was like a Disney, like a parade, and then it was like a 4th of July Independence Day parade. And so my mom had my brother and I in the front of the line. We were already standing there, and this lady, a white lady, came by and she like tried to push us out of the way. And so my mom, with her limited English, was like, "What are you doing?" And the lady said, "You guys aren't even American. Go back to your own country."
Yeah.
So I remember my mom at that moment, she told us, she said at that moment, she looked down at us too, and we were both looking up at her. She said if she felt like if she didn't say anything then, that we would forever feel like we weren't truly American or we were lesser than.
Yeah.
So then she used her limited English and all the curse words she knew, and she like cussed that lady out until she like was forced to like bring her children somewhere else.
Yeah.
But like she didn't want us to feel lesser than.
Yeah.
And I think that's just it's very powerful to hear that, because a lot of times, and especially in Asian American media with Asian ladies, especially growing up, like we're like known to be like shy or meek or reserved or not say anything. She's always been very verbal, like very, very like if something's not right, something's like there's no justice, she'll be the first person to speak up no matter what. And so I grew up with that. So I've always been so angry at seeing like the weak Asian lady thing, because I'm like, that's so not true. So that's why I'm so drawn to strong Asian women. Like I love Michelle Yeoh, I love Sarah Chang. Like it's just that to me is it's what is actually an Asian woman.
Right.
Powerful.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of it really touches my heart to hear you talk about your story with your mom. But definitely having a good role model growing up makes such a big difference. So.
Yeah.
Then you were finished with Hong Kong, and you ended up coming to Taiwan. And I think you were in a couple of singing contests or whatnot when you here. How did you get into that? And was it something that, hey, I'm going to...
So at that time, before I even left for Asia, there was like a singing competition called Xinguang Dadao, which is like a Million Star Avenue. It was basically like the American Idol of Taiwan.
Right.
And I remember when I was still in college, before I even had like that courage to tell my mom I wanted to embark on that journey, that singing competition was like season 2, and like I loved every contestant on it. And every time like it was like the commercial for that show, I would leave the room and go to the garage and like sing and pretend like I was on the stage.
Oh my God, that sounds like my brother.
Delusional person. But then, like when it came time to like, I knew that the next season I was in Hong Kong at the time when I found out the next season was looking for like new contestants.
Yeah.
So I told my cousin in Hong Kong, I was like, I want to go to Taiwan and give it a try. So I just flew to Taiwan, no promises, no connections. And then I heard that the TV station was hosting the lineup for it. You had to go the night before. So I spent a night in the rain on a newspaper with cardboard boxes.
Oh my gosh.
To get just the number to have the right to sing in front of people who are judging you. They give you literally 30 seconds to be like if they want you or not.
Right.
So like that's what I did. So I just waited the whole night, got my number. It was like 151, and then got into that competition, got to top 50, got disqualified, and then went back to Hong Kong, did their competition there, got to top 15. So I was like, okay, I'm improving. Progressing. And then along the way, people are always like, you failed, so you should go back home. Okay, well, you failed, so you should like quit while you're ahead. And then I'd be like, why does that, but I'm progressing. Like, why would I quit before, like, I've literally just started my journey. Like it's only been 6, 7, 8 months since I left America. Why are you guys trying to tell me to quit? So then I went back to Taiwan, went back to the next season of that competition, didn't even get in. And then I was like, okay, well, what do I do next? And I found out about another competition, like the rival competition on a different TV, it was called Super Idol. And then I found out they were having auditions the next day. Literally everything worked out perfectly, and I just went. And then I got in, and I got to top 8.
Oh, nice.
And that's when I started to get a few jobs here and there with people telling me all the time that I wasn't good enough. And I had a year in Taiwan where I had literally 500 NT in my bank. And I didn't have a job for a year and a half. People telling me that I was a has-been. People telling me that I should just give up. Like, you're not making any money, you have no jobs, why don't you just give up? I was just like,
how many people do give up? That's the whole thing, right?
That's the thing that's why I get so angry. It's like people do give up because of what people say. So it's like before you open your fucking mouth to like tell people what to do in their life, like think about what could really happen. You're really gonna make them feel like they really do need to give up. But I think because of my mom's personality, like she's never been someone who's telling me to give up. She's never said stop. She's never. You know, maybe in her heart she's like worried for me, but she's never said it.
Yeah.
And she's never said give up, never said you can't do it. So I think that really helped because I have a mom and a brother who's super supportive. But some people don't have that.
Yeah.
So it's like, so for people who don't have that, hopefully like my journey, no matter how far I get, hopefully that can affect other people who don't have that support system back home to be like, hey, there's someone out there who didn't give up.
Yep.
And he might not be super successful in terms of societal standards, but he's fucking happy. Like I'm super happy with my life.
Are you talking about other people that are kind of like us, a bi-cultural type of thing, Asian, or just anybody in general? Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter who it is. You never know who's watching or who's paying attention to you. Like you just stay true to what you believe in and everything else falls into place. And even if it doesn't, and this is I guess my final philosophy in life is like I went hiking once and then I've been hiking many times, but one time I was like really thinking about the hiking and I was like, wow, this stone was placed here by someone that I will never meet. But their contribution, maybe they just brought that one stone up here, but their contribution will always be felt, but you will never know who that person was. So why give yourself so much importance that you have to be so finished or have to be so successful? Maybe you're just a stepping stone for someone in the future.
Right.
But isn't that good enough? Why do we have to all be like the shining star? Like, why can't we just be happy with just being that one pebble?
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't think that you'd be happy with just being that little pebble.
No,
yeah, brings me up to the fact that, did you ever have like a 5 or 10 year type of plan?
No.
No, never.
No, fuck plans.
Oh, okay, very cool. Yeah. So, but in your mind, how do you feel that in your mind without those plans, have you surpassed, or what do you think about where you are right now? And have you reached where, I mean, I know you haven't reached where you want to go because I know you're going to have a lot further to go, but you know what I mean? How do you measure?
I understand what you're saying, but honestly, I'm happy with where I am now. Okay. Like if I died today, like right now, I would be totally content. But then it doesn't mean I'm just going to stop there. It just means like, okay, well, like this is where I am. This is my how I feel. Then I think I can keep going. So let's just keep going and see where it takes me. And then like, if I can make money along the way, that's great. And if not, maybe that's just my life path. But I'm not going to beat myself up just because I'm not making money. Like people can live in this life very, very like comfortably with very little money. It's just as long as you're content with who you are, where you are, what you're doing at that moment, that's all that matters.
Yeah, being present.
Yeah.
So you never had the moment where you, when you had only 500 NT, was it 500 NT or 50, that or whatever time that you just was so tired that you did want to give up? Never.
No, I just found a way.
Cool.
You just find a way to survive.
Yeah.
So you can only rely on yourself, and people along the way will believe in you and help you out. People that you don't even expect.
Yeah. Something like that. Oh, so cool. So we talked about all the different talents that you have. Now, if you were to just pick one, or is that possible? Would you be super happy, contented, and if you could make a really good living with it, doing one thing out of all your talented?
Like, do I have to choose, you're saying?
Yeah, if you had to choose.
If I had to choose, I would just choose to kill myself. I don't know. It's hard to it's very hard. It's like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
It's very hard to choose because they all are part of what has made me today. And I think it's hard. It's difficult to choose. I don't think it's even possible.
Okay, so we're gonna still have
It's still hard.
Stephen Rong, multi-talented artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll stop
Yeah.
when I want to stop.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you feel, or do you feel that you had one really significant experience that has changed your perceptions or made you, propelled you somewhere?
Taiwan That You Love.
Yeah. Oh, that was our show. I
That was the
played your
show.
mom.
You played mom on that.
Yeah,
That
that's
was,
right.
That was literally the show that saved me because before that, I was in Taiwan for so long. I had so many people tell me that I just wasn't getting roles because I wasn't good enough or my Chinese wasn't good enough. People just reminding me left and right that maybe I wasn't cut out for this industry. And then came along Taiwan That You Love, from the Philippines, and they were looking for someone who was Taiwanese and who could speak English. And so I went for the audition.
We had to speak English in
an accent.
accent,
Yeah.
which
It was
I
very
was on and off, right?
But then I went to that, and then just working with a crew from a different country, especially the Philippines, like they're very respectful, very nice to you, like they treat you like you're an equal. Whereas in a lot of Taiwanese crews, like the actors are usually seen at the bottom of the food chain. Like the directors here, a lot of them have a god complex, and I think it's just because of the hierarchy system. You have to call them something dao, like. And not all of them are bad, but a lot of them, like, you don't have a say.
Yeah.
As an actor, you're basically a pawn. You have to just follow the rules. And if you speak up or you have too many thoughts, they consider you hard to work with.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Philippines, like, you're allowed to say what you wanted. Like, you're allowed to talk to the director, be like, I want to do this. And then they'll be like, okay, try it out. Have fun. It's like, that was what made me realize I don't have to be so, like scared to make mistakes. I can play around in front of the camera. I can be very comfortable and give different types of performances. And then it's not because I'm a terrible actor. It's just because I just haven't found a role that's appropriate for me in Taiwan yet. But then it's just because the scripts don't call for it yet. But doesn't mean forever it's going to be like that. So with knowing that, feeling like I had more power as an actor, coming back to Taiwan now, like I don't feel so constricted with my performances. And even if the director is someone who has a god complex, I just pretend like I'm listening to them, but I still give a performance that I'm proud of. And then I just don't say it. I just do it. And then if they see it and they don't like it, what's the worst that could happen? Like, I made a mistake. Sorry, I didn't do it the way you wanted. I just act really stupid. I'm
the foreigner.
I'm like, oh, sorry. I thought I did it the way you wanted. But actually, I knew that I was doing it the way that I wanted. Yeah.
Right. So doing that, though, what's the percentage of those directors that really accepted what you did and you're
70-80%.
78%.
They go,
wow.
oh, that was a good one. Yeah. And then, I mean, the worst comes to worst, they'll be like, can you do it the way I wanted you to do it? And so, like, I'm like, okay, then I can do it the way they wanted me to do it without any complaints in my heart, because at least I gave them what I wanted. And they can do it in the cutting board. They can edit it out if they didn't like it, but at least I give it to them. And then ultimately, I respect their decision because it's their work. So then, because we are in one way like a pawn for them, like they do need us as the pieces for their final work, but you're giving them something that's more authentic to you. So I think it's like, it's a good trade-off, but they usually 80% they choose the one that I wanted.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So are you deliberately looking, well, I guess because you're in Taiwan, you work on international projects, but most of your projects are
Taiwan-based.
Taiwanese. And that's by choice or just by circumstance?
The main thing is by choice, because ultimately, my mom, she still works in the restaurant. Like she's been there 40 some years already. It's very difficult for her to just decide to retire because she loves her customers love her. She's just used to that lifestyle. But ultimately, because of something my mom once said, I decided I want to stay here, so when she retires, I'll be here and then we can live together. Like that's my ultimate goal, is for her to move back. So I'm choosing to stay in Taiwan mainly for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are buying a place to near where I used to live. Yeah, I've just moved to another
That's like
area.
my dream. I want to live with her.
Oh,
until,
cool.
Yeah, until the end.
Why your brother's gonna stay back in the
That's
States?
like hard for him because like because like that's another thing is I wanted him because as Asian children growing up in America, a lot of times our parents might not necessarily have the best English skills. So my brother for many years since birth has been like a lot of times my mom's like translator for a lot of things, or the person who has to like take care of a lot of tie some loose ends and stuff. So it's a lot of pressure for him as the older son. So then for me, like wanting her to move back here to Taiwan, I kind of want to like give my brother the opportunity to finally live his own life,
Right, take a
and not
break,
have to worry about mom so much.
Right.
But then like it was a conversation we had just last year. He said finally, he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when mom's not around, when she's in Taiwan. Like it kind of made me realize that even with him like not being able to live his life, like mom is so much part of his life that it's hard for him to fathom like not having her around.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. It's
I gotta meet your mom.
Yeah.
She just seems like she's just such a
She's amazing.
down to earth, cool person, and raised you and your brother. I know you're very close, and the time that you guys get to be together is really precious.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice or suggestions for anybody that's thinking about coming to Asia or being in Asia? Because to be honest, there are a lot of Western Asians that have gone to Asia to start their career in the industry and stuff, and some of them are quite successful. I don't know how many people failed and went back home, but yeah, do you have any suggestions for people that might be wanting to go the same path?
Just know that you're in a different country from a lot of times we I think especially as Western minded people, we are very independent thinkers. We're questioning all the time. We want to know why and how and whatever. But a lot of people in Asia growing up, like there's school systems here that are don't cause ripples, don't cause trouble, don't ask too many questions, don't like when do as you're told. Don't
stand out in the crowd.
They say like 不要出风头, which like
Mm-hmm.
means like don't do things that will like be like showing off.
Right.
Like try to blend in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the mentality here. So as American-minded Western thinkers, it's not like we don't want to conform. It's just that we're raised to like believe in reaching for the stars or be yourself. So it will mesh. It will clash very, very much. So with us looking Asian, a lot of times people here will look at us and be like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you so hard to work with? Or why are you so like asking questions all the time?" Like they don't necessarily remember that you're not from here. So then
because of your face.
Because of your face.
Yeah.
So then they don't know that you're kind of like you stick out and not in a good way. So then when you come to an Asian country, you just have to really remind yourself, and this took me 5 years into my journey to remind myself that no one's going to change for me here. I'm in their like realm. Like I need to adapt the way that I am in order to work with people here so that I'm not making them uncomfortable. But I have to find a way so that I'm still staying true to myself, but I'm working in a way that is like water, that I'm able to really, really work with them rather than having wave clashing, because that doesn't help anybody. In the end, it just makes it really hard for you. So you really have to be like, I can't be so Western minded because I'm not in the Western world now.
Right.
I need to know how they work here and why me asking questions is making them comfortable. Like you just have to read the room better.
Right. Okay, great. So do you have any new projects that are coming up in the near future that you're working
There's some
on?
prospects, but mainly though is if you like true crime, please listen to
Yes,
my
their
podcast.
podcast.
And if you understand Chinese, because it's all in Chinese, it's called 暗黑森林 or Dark Forest, and it's a true crime podcast. And it's one of my things that I love. I post a new episode every Monday. Yeah, that's the thing. That's like keeps me going, and I think it really has helped me find what I want to do in life, which is to help people. Because it's a show, even though it's about murder. Like a lot of times we talk about why the perpetrator did the thing they did. Sometimes they're victims themselves, and they deserve some kind of empathy, not for what they did. Ultimately, that should always be something that they need to be punished for, but who was there for them before they became that monster. Like a lot of times they were people who slept through the cracks and weren't cared for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the really cool thing is because if you step back and are able to see things in a different way without being so judgmental about it, then you can learn things, or you can
see things from a different perspective.
Exactly, exactly. So that was really quick. Thank you, Stephen, for stopping by. Always, don't take so long to answer my message next time.
I know.
No, I knew you were super busy, so I wasn't sure. I didn't want to push. But this is Stephen Rong. You can find him. Your Instagram is
the wrong one.
Yeah, I always like that. The wrong one. Yeah. And then your Facebook is different, though. It's not that. It's under just Stephen Rong.
I think it's just
Rong
my Stephen Rong with Rong Zhonghao, my Chinese name.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you're showing your age when you say Facebook, though.
But, okay, I'm an old, not that old.
I'm just kidding.
Asian
I
lady.
use it too.
But, so thank you for joining us today. This is Sharon Landon, and see you next time on Old Asian Lady.